Welcome to Fight Night Hearthstone Special Edition. Tonight we take a look back at some of the highlights of Season 1 to see who will go home the Hearthstone champion. This is Fight Night.
Hey everybody, Frodan here. Welcome back to another episode of ESGN TV's Fight Night. Last night with Tasteless, you saw some of our best moments of Street Fighter 4, and tonight we take a look at our favorite moments of Hearthstone Season 1. Very fearsome opponent. Trump's gonna ping off the Divine Shield from the Archer Commander and then Blizzard, which I think is an excellent shield to reduce the pressure. Nimsh, probably, yep, there it is, the well played. Nimsh will win 3-0 over Trump. Well, he's gonna end his turn.
I don't think Strife can realistically lose right now.
Yeah, and he's able to do something, but I think he expects everything. He's gonna concede. Here we go, one more wheel spin. Will this be the Ragnarok that finishes the game? And it will be, because it's been that kind of game for Strife Crow. So heading into our first game for tonight, it would be Ekop versus Monk. Both teams needed a win. Who would come out on top?
Get ready for the first match, Ekop versus Monk.
Welcome to game number 2, everybody. Ekop has chosen to go for Mage, and he has some really interesting cards that I'm sure Crip would like to talk about.
Well, it's the Giant Mage, and if you play Hearthstone, you've probably played against this deck a lot recently. There are a few interesting things in the fact that the main win condition of this deck is you do a lot of damage to your opponent, and to do that, yeah, you get a huge head start from the Giants, and we see that there's only one Mountain Giant, which is a bit unconventional, and instead we see the Archmage Antonidas, which sets up kind of a different type of win condition. Yeah. Where if that one card doesn't get controlled, oh, and there he is.
He even kept it. He had it in his starting hand. Wow. He chose not to swap it out instead.
That is a pretty good play in my opinion, because you know, if you can set up Archmage with perhaps Frost Nova, which I'm sure in here. I mean, yeah, first card.
You can set up for a Fireball and potentially just keep the never-ending stream of Fireballs.
Right, so you just have to protect that card, and he knows that a Druid can't do 7 direct that easily. You know, he was able to in the last game against the Shaman, but I think he got a little bit lucky in a lot of those matchups.
Well, game 1's in the history books, so whether it's luck or not, currently Monk's up 1-0. He did innervate and put out a Harvest Golem and a Novice Engineer, putting out a few damage. Yep. And now, ooh, a second Power Blast from Ekop, so he is well set for his late game if he can get there.
Yeah, when it comes to this type of Mage deck, if you get the right cards, you're almost unstoppable. Right now, I don't believe I saw Ice Block in his hand, and when we go to it again, I'll verify my opinion. So what can happen is you might just die before you kill your opponent.
Yep.
Oh, he actually just drew it.
Wow. So he has a lot of...
He has pretty much all the pieces.
Yeah. Oh, even a Frost Nova.
The Frost Nova Doomsayer combo.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very effective, as it's very difficult for a player to do 7 damage directly to a creature when his entire board is frozen from the turn before.
Yeah. Well, it is one of these rare instances where if you somehow naturalize your opponent who has 10 cards, it won't really have an effect.
Funny you should say that. What Naturalize does is actually screw up the combo of the Mage, but because he has all the pieces in his hand already, Naturalize will just be like a pretty useful card in general, but nothing super game-changing, I don't believe.
Well, in this scenario, there's a lot of options for Ekop to choose from.
Oh, it's going to be every turn. Yeah. I mean, when you have 10 cards, you can do whatever you want, basically.
Now he does have a polymorph also into his mage deck, something that we've been seeing mages kind of phase out because they don't really need it per se. But I like seeing it still because you never know what to expect.
Well, it's true. It's just that usually polymorph you're gonna have to use it on a creature that's much bigger than the cost of polymorph, and on a lot of decks leading up perhaps the last week or so.
Oh no, hands too full.
Yep, there it goes.
First world Hearthstone problems.
Well, it's pretty good value. You kill a creature, you deny the card draw of the next turn.
It was an Arcane Intellect though, so...
Yeah, he has both Ice Blocks in his hand.
Wow.
This game may actually be over already, just because of the card quality in Ekop's hand.
Yeah, you're gonna drop the Doomsayer and put on pressure that regard, at least draw damage that way.
Yeah, I don't I don't really know about that play. I mean, it just dies. This is pretty much like gain 7 life, which is all right, I guess.
2 mana for 7 life.
Yeah.
So Monk can even improve his board position more by dropping Sylvanas. But again, you want to be really careful not to overload the board too much, because then you start running out of options to answer.
Probably what's going through his head is he can do a lot of burst damage with the swipes, the claws, and what he knows to play around is the Molten Giants. The problem is often you'll get the mage very low, but you won't kill him, and then he'll keep his game up by extending his life with Ice Block. And while this is going on, because he has low life, the Molten Giants that are drawn will be free. So the tempo change becomes so huge at that point that you can just overwhelm your opponent, and he's gonna try to kill the mage in a very short amount of turns when he starts going below 20 life. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into how he can play out his turn. The problem is that next turn we'll be seeing, actually maybe not next turn, probably what we're going to see is...
Interesting.
Kill one of the creatures, take a little less damage. I think what we're going to see is Archmage, Antonidas, Coin, Frost Nova on 8.
Right, so that way he gets a fireball.
He gets 2 fireballs.
Yeah,
he gets 1 from the Coin, he gets 1 from the Frost Nova.
Yeah, combine that with his second Ice Block and 2 Pyroblasts. Wow, that sounds extremely devastating. Monk's starting to put out a lot of damage, giving him 14.
14 is a decent number. This is where a giant costs 4 mana, so his opponent can cast a giant, but he won't really be doing anything else to change the board. And because of that, Sylvanas can run into the giant.
Yep.
So what's going through his mind is probably, I'm in a pretty good spot. I can burn him down. And Monk is probably feeling quite confident. I certainly would never expect my opponent to have such high card quality.
Yeah, especially in combination, what's going to happen on turn 8. Still 6 damage left on the board. Well, 7 if you count the hero power. But hypothetically, if Monk just threw everything, he could trigger the secrets this turn. If he wants to.
One thing is, his life is getting dangerously low, just considering that he has that many swipes and claws.
Yeah.
And with the mage, while the creature control is very good, it's very difficult to freeze an opponent. The only two ways that I know of, one uses spell, but in his deck he doesn't have Ice Lances, so the spell that we're looking at is Frostbolt.
Water Elemental.
Right, so he doesn't have the Water Elemental, which is the creature-based freeze, and he only has the Frostbolt. So if he can get, if Monk can get his opponent down to 1 life and proc the Ice Block, then it should just be a matter of a few turns to finish him off.
Because he can get him to 2 health. If you combine
this is what he's
8,
counting right now.
14.
He wants to get him as low as possible.
Yeah, so he can get him to 2 health, the lowest I can count. I'm not sure. My math's not my best subject, Crip.
Yeah. Well, he
can
can certainly proc the Ice Block. He can get him to 1. He can go through it. Very simply, you can do. There's 2 swipes. That's 8 plus the 6.
Yeah.
So that is 14.
How do you get it to 1? I was saying, can you get him to 1?
Yeah. Well, you can spare like the Harvest Golem attack, get up to 3, and then you can use Claw plus the hero ability in the following turn. There's also the Argus, which adds 2 damage, but I think he's just going to try to proc. Oh, he's going to double Claw. Yep.
Yeah, there we
5.
go. 5 and, well, 2, yeah.
2 is pretty good.
Yeah, and he also still has a swipe. So that's going to force an Ice Block from ECOP.
There's 2 options here. Because he went second, because he has the Coin, if he has, or we'll see in a second, if he draws into Alistraza, he'll be able to heal himself to 15. And, he just saw his opponent play a lot of cards there. So he does have the answer. He does have the Ice Block. But Monk did this because there's only 2 answers left in the deck, and at this point you only drew about half your deck. So if you got a little bit lucky, oh wow, this is a very greedy play.
Oh no. All right, well, he does know that both bites were used, so...
but the game is over again.
Yeah, because in the end we have the swipe coming out.
Yep, that was a bit of a greedy play. He kind of played to win, I believe.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to be greedy in this spot, but it definitely did not pay out. Monk had the correct cards.
So good job by Monk as he takes game number 2 in this best of 5 series in ECOP. He has to go back to the drawing board and we'll have to play his last deck. Game number 2 is in the books. It's gonna be Druid versus Druid for game number 3, ECOP. It's now or never. Let's find out in game number 3. So it looks like it's a really important match, not just for the overall series because you want to win, or ECOP wants to win for himself, but because his team was up 1-0, and if you go up 2-0, which is a really big lead, and evening it out, all of a sudden resets it to a best of 3.
Yep. Well, I think Monk's probably got this one. I'm talking about the set of matches. As far as the Druid versus Druid, as I mentioned, it favors ECOP just by a little bit. Openers are pretty similar there, and more novice engineers to be had for both parties here.
Yep, and we see pretty defensive setups just because they really can't do much, but we do have a few options because he does have Innervate. When I say he had Monk, I have to kind of gather myself because it looks a little similar.
Yep. Well, both decks have a lot of the same cards, but the main differences are going to be there's a lot more spells in ECOP's deck, and he has the Gadgetzan Auctioneer, which we haven't seen drawn yet, but it's a card that if you don't deal with it immediately, you can run into a lot of problems.
Yeah, you start rattling off and your card advantage becomes insane, especially with some of the AoE that Druid has. It can provide really good tempo and card advantage.
Yep. The benefit of Monk's deck is largely the Ancient Watchers and the fact that it has a lot of early game control, which is in fact shared by ECOP as well, as far as the early game control, but the Ancient Watcher is not really that useful. It's kind of good for stopping the mid-game-ish creatures, but there's not really a lot of those in ECOP's deck. I don't really think they're that effective for stopping the huge ones, and those are really the ones that are going to swing the game. These spells and that kind of stuff, it's going to help, but we're going to see probably a pretty big brawl of giant creatures go at it.
Well, we see an immediate big power play from Monk as he drops the Innervate and Druid of the Claw combination and forces out a swipe this early on, which has to make Monk feel really good.
Well, swipe, it's good to bait that out, but it's better to Healing Touch one of those, I think.
Okay.
Because essentially you're trading swipe for Healing Touch. Yeah. That is a really good trade in a matchup that's control based, as life is not really that valuable of a resource.
What about putting Keeper of the Grove, rather? I was saying Druid of the Grove.
Keeper of the Grove is good. The thing is, he doesn't know what deck exactly ECOP is playing, and as I mentioned about those Ancient Watchers, how you make those really useful is by silencing them, because suddenly the 2 mana 4/5 can attack. So playing that card has its drawbacks in that you have 2 silences and you have 2 Ancient Watchers. You really got to pair them up to get good effect of your cards. So he does realize this, and he ends up wrathing for 1, cycling through his deck and taking it out for free instead.
Yep. He's going to go for the greedier route, I suppose.
It is a bit greedy because you have a pretty good use of Healing Touch, but at the same time, often to deal 2 damage, you're going to have to use at least 1 card. In this case, he actually drew Wrath, so he doesn't have to use the card. That's a pretty good draw.
Yeah, especially with Blood Mage Thalnos, he can draw and kill it off in 1 blow.
Well, he didn't need to do that. He could have just taken the 4 damage. And in my opinion, I mean, with 2 Healing Touches in your hand, that's really not a big deal. If you need the life, you can use it. Obviously, as I mentioned, it's better use of Healing Touch to heal off your creature as you counter the direct damage of your opponent.
And so now, Monk, he has 5 mana on the board, trying to wait to see what he can do. He has a Sylvanas.
Playing Sylvanas is a very aggressive move. He's considering it because if you look at his hand, a lot of the cards are just very situational. And Sylvanas, while it is pretty situational against a big creature, you know, you want to play it so you steal their stuff. But I don't know, if he claws the creature on board right now, he's left with 3 mana. With 3 mana, you're playing a Sunfury Protector on nothing, or you're innervating. But if you're innervating, you're essentially trading Innervate for Blood Mage, which is not really a card because it draws a card and it dies. So.
Yeah, unless you wanted to silence it, but it's not really what he was looking for. So he's going to drop a Sunfury Protector. He has 2 anyways.
Yeah, you just throw something on the board so he has something to smack into creatures.
Cool. Now we have the ECOP. Let's see what he can do. 6 mana.
He just drew the answer, I believe.
Sunwalker would be a fantastic drop. A card that's pretty underrated, in my opinion. It's got the good stats of 4 and 5. 5 is the money health, 4 the money attack, Divine Shield.
Sunwalker is really good when your opponent doesn't have a lot of stuff, because the Divine Shield gets really powerful when you have control over the board. His opponent has 1 creature, which actually turns out to be quite good. He may be thinking of the Ragnaros play here, and that is what he does. So at this point, He's hoping that it hits the creature, and if it
it
does. Wow,
nice roll there.
that is a very good roll. For your opponent to deal with Ragnaros, at 7 mana, he's gonna have to burn some stuff.
Yeah, can't even silence it because then you can just attack for 8 anyways.
Yeah, silencing doesn't really work. The Ancient of War isn't that bad because it does survive a hit from Ragnaros, and you can Healing Touch it and then attack into Ragnaros, and then Healing Touch it again. Which is not usually among the options of a regular play.
Yeah,
but he can do it
perfectly.
Yeah,
and I think that's what he's debating. Because honestly, what else can you really do? You can try eliminating it inefficiently with 3+ cards.
Yeah, I mean you could take care of it, but it's quite costly here.
Yeah. And I don't really, and I think getting a minion out's not the worst thing. Because then if it misses, and then you still have that 10 health to play with.
I actually don't believe there's any combination of cards to outright kill Ragnaros right now. And I think he's going through those options in his head and realizing that the Ancient of War, probably just putting something out there is the best thing you can do right now.
Yeah, because you need Starfall, Claw, and attack or Keep of the Grove. So.
Yeah, he's 1 mana short of killing it right now.
That's unfortunate, and now Monk, he has to be feeling pretty good about himself.
Yeah, I mean, if you play Rag and it's alive the next turn, you are in a really good spot. And now he has the Silence. He can drop that extra 5 health off of the minion, as that is a battle cry. It's not something that's innate of the card.
He still also has a Sun Fury Protector as well.
Right.
So that in combination can be pretty nasty.
He's thinking of giving Rag Taunt just to limit the options the opponent has. But I think to swing the game more heavily, he would give Taunt to just the other creature.
Yep.
But, you know, he can't really expect his opponent to have Starfall and that kind of stuff that he actually does have in his hand.
And so he should be able to deal
Swipe
with
Draw
Rag.
is just excellent at this point.
Oh, yeah. So Starfall plus the Claw plus attack, but that's still
No. You're not attacking in the 8. Right now you're swipe and trading, or you're doing some kind of Starfall play. But I do believe the swipe is the best option.
He does have those healing touches to also help him up if things get too tight. But
he has a few interesting options because he can Keeper of the Grove for 2 damage, so he can essentially equalize the board by swiping Ragnaros, attacking the Ragnaros, and the 1 damage from the swipe on the Sun Fury plus the 2 from the Keeper
should even out the board. Just 2 Keepers of the Grove.
Exactly. So he has the card advantage, but he is down some life. It's not really a big deal because he has the healing touches, but we'll see. If healing touches are just going to be used on himself for life, he's actually exactly even.
Well, Monk does have some stuff ready because he did have Sylvanas for a while now, and also he has Ancient of Lore to draw more cards if he so desires. And in the end, it's still a slight lead for Monk, but I like how Ecop dug his way out of that position. Very nice job.
Yeah, you got to deal with Ragnaros. The fact that it was there 2 turns could have actually ended the game. I think if it did hit the 5/5 creature, I believe it would have ended the game.
There's no answer for him.
Well, there were answers, but those cost a lot of hit points. Yeah.
No desired.
Right now, he's seeing the Equalizer as an opportunity to regain the card advantage and playing by the Ancient of Lore, drawing 2 cards. He has answer in his hand. He can actually do crazy stuff like wrathing his own Sylvanas if he needs to. So I think he's in a pretty good spot right now. He has a lot of insurance against the heavy cards that his opponent could be playing.
Yeah, and Monk, I love Monk's position a lot. And again, remember, he's up 2-0, so if he wins this, he wins 250 for himself and 250 for the team, and equals up the score. And Ecop,
he's looking for the naturalized draw here, I believe. Yeah, I think
he can actually take out the Keeper of the Grove as well.
Yeah, at the same time, if he does, his opponent does kill it, so it's not something you really have to do.
I guess he just feels like it's just mana efficient. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I can do it, so why not?
He set up his opponent for a pretty good opportunity to swipe, but a Ragnaros draw is pretty much top tier at this point.
Yeah, and now you can use his Claw to eliminate one of the possibilities, and this could be a big turning point in the match.
If it hits the 5/5, it may be over.
5/5.
Nope.
Oh man, no, it doesn't hit.
Yep, that Ragnaros is going to be on discount.
50% off.
Oh, more than that. That's going to be 1 Wrath.
Yeah, 1 Wrath plus the Ancient of Lore.
Yeah, but the Ancient of Lore draws 2 cards,
yeah.
so he essentially...
And does 5 damage.
Yeah, essentially got a pretty much a freebie there. That's as good as you can get for killing a Rag as a Druid.
Yeah, with no real true hard removal, and so ECOP has to be a little bit disappointed with that. And now the board's been cleared, so Monk can even drop the Druid of the Claw.
Yep, Druid of the Claw is the best play here. You don't want to Sylvanas, you don't want to give your opponent the opportunity to bypass the battle cry of such a powerful card. The Druid of the Claw evades a lot of direct damage. He he evades a Starfall. He'd have to attack himself, and
I didn't know that. I didn't notice that ECOP runs Wild Growth as well. It's another part of his ramp.
Yeah, I think it's why he runs so many big cards. He does so because he feels he can ramp into them by using the Wild Growths.
One thing that's kind of cute is if you have 10 mana and you use Wild Growth with Gadget Auctioneer, you get 2 cards because you get a free mana card.
That's true.
So maybe in that combination. Now look at that, double Druid of the Claw.
Yep, he is in a pretty good spot because he can swipe 1, finish it off for 2 damage, attack into it, and attack with the hero, which is 10 mana. He can clear the board while still having 2 creatures left. The one that he has right now, which would be a 4/2, and the Keeper, which he plays. So that looks to be like the play that he's making. Bit of a complicated one, but an experienced Druid player will see this kind of stuff immediately.
Yeah, really well done again by Monk, and I guess the Claw party's over.
Yep.
Crashed by Keeper of the Grove. Centaurs don't know how to have fun, man.
Well, that's a very fun card.
And now, what can you really do if you're in ECOP's position? It's still kind of difficult. He can use a Wild Growth to draw.
Well, he's in a pretty bad spot, but he's got the health from the Healing Touch, and he's got some cards that are not easy to deal with. Oh, man. Might as well keep going.
Right, and
it's not like you're playing anything.
He's wasting his mana, though, this turn, but better than nothing. Essentially thinning his deck. I'm actually kind of curious how many cards are left in each deck, because they've been drawing a lot.
Yeah, he really needs his other Ancient of War, or he really needs his Ysera. And because he had to waste 4 mana, he's not playing either this turn.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and there's Ysera. How about that?
So you can use Starfall, eliminate
2 to all,
the Druid of
and the Claw.
And finish it off.
Yep.
And now it's 3 cards versus 3 cards.
He is not in a bad spot.
Wow.
And it's a pretty strange scenario because Ysera can draw you so many cards, and it's unlikely your opponent can deal 12 damage to it directly in 1 turn. He can continuously heal it with the Healing Touches. So this is actually far from over.
But he also saw Naturalize before, right?
Yes, he did. But if he does use the Naturalize on Ysera, he's, again, not in that bad of a spot.
All right. Well, so now that we've seen the Sylvanas and Harvest Golem dropped, can ECOP start the rally train? As he does have the option.
He has to play Ysera here. I'm pretty sure he knows that.
There's no other option, really.
Well, if you play anything else, you're essentially getting more behind in the game. Right now, Monk does not have a Wrath. I haven't been counting. I know he's used at least 1. You think he's used 2?
I think so.
Okay. Well, if he has used 2, then he's pretty safe. But if he does have a Wrath, he can attack Ysera with a Sylvanas, then Wrath it for 1. Wrath pays for itself by drawing a card, and you steal the Sylvanas, which is a really bad play, bad spot for ECOP. But if he knows that he has used 2, that is in fact the case, he doesn't have much to worry about.
Well, we get Dream, one of the... it's one of the weaker versions of the Dream cards.
Considering what's going to be played this turn, it's going to be quite strong.
Yeah, wow, that's really nice.
It's going to waste his entire turn for 0 mana.
Yeah, I mean, in most cases, I really like some of the other cards like Ysera Awakens and some of the really sick Emerald cards, but in this position, yeah, Dream has its pretty good utility.
There is another play here too, but I don't know if he'll be made. Yeah, it looks like he's going for face. Going for face looks like a really good idea from where Monk is standing, but
the Healing Touches.
Right, the Healing Touches essentially have Monk at higher life. Have ECOP at higher life than
yeah. And if he can return it to his hand, heal up, put some more minions on the board.
Well, Sylvanas is a real pain in the ass to deal with right now.
Yeah.
But if he gets a few more aggressive cards, he might be able to pull this off just by healing himself. I think if he gets Ysera Awakens, he's not going to be in that terrible of a spot, in fact.
And it's going to be really nice to just have that complete board wipe. And now with healing, he goes up to 14 health.
Yep.
In Harvest Golem. Very nicely done once again by ECOP.
I think ECOP may decide to go all in here. Oh, he's choosing to attack the Golem, which is actually the correct play, because going all in would pretty much result in the opponent using the healing touch. But I don't think he's seen the healing touch in any of the games so far.
No.
So he doesn't know that the opponent has that.
Monk's flirted with the idea of healing up his minions before, but no real need to.
Yep.
Now it's a death rattle party.
Yeah, he can get rid of both sides of the harvest golem there.
It's all these cards have some kind of effect, which is upon death, and now calculating all the possibilities. In the end, I think he's debating whether or not to. Oh, is he gonna go for the Sylvanas? Oh, he's gonna risk it.
Oh, 1 out of 3.
Here we go, the big moment.
If he loses this, it's done.
Oh, he takes the Harvest Golem.
Not bad.
That's the second best option.
Oh.
But now a Dream card comes in, and Ysera Awakens. Wow, a game-changing card.
That is a game-changing card.
Whoa.
Oh, he draws the Naturalize, though. He does have the kill with the Claw, so he doesn't need to Naturalize it. And I would probably not Naturalize if I could help it.
So he's got 5, 7.
Yeah, he does have a lot of damage, is the flip side.
Yeah.
He sees the opponent at 10, he sees the opponent use the Healing Touch. Most people don't run 2 Healing Touches, so he can see this opportunity to get really aggressive, and he may actually pay the price for that.
It's funny you say that, because we do see 2 from Ekop, but only 1 Healing Touch in the deck for Monk.
Yep.
So now Monk's kind of has to make some risky calculations.
Well, it's on what he assumes is in the deck at this point. It's, yeah.
Very tense moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, wow, he's thinking about going for the Claw. I mean, still he's seen Ragnaros. Both Ragnaroses came out, yeah?
Both sides played Rag. And Ysera is dropped, and he killed the Sunwalker. I mean, if he deals with Ysera and Monk is even,
much the last
that would put him essentially in the lead of the game overall.
There's only really the highest drop he has is an Auctioneer.
Yeah. So Monk is not in like the best of spots right now, just because his opponent has the Awaken. But you know what? It's not bad. If Ekop draws like a Silence or something like that, or maybe just direct 5, he's gonna be fine, I think.
Ooh.
That is about the worst card you can draw. That is pure worthlessness.
Yeah. Well, he does have a Loot Hoarder for a second chance. All right. I mean, you can draw with the Innervate. So Innervate now becomes useful. Yep. And he gives him a second option, and he could play all the cards in his hand this turn if he wants to. Uses Ysera Awakens before the playing with fire.
That seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah,
I think I would play the Gadgetzin, Innervate, and heal myself if the next card is not a spell. And then maybe consider Awakening, I don't know.
Ekop, this one's gonna sting if he chooses to drop it. He's debating it.
Yeah.
He's picked it up 4 times now and dropped it.
It's actually a very interesting play.
Wow.
Because he would be betting on the cards that he would be drawing to finish off that creature.
Yeah, so he does damage to everybody on the board. Because Ysera's already down, and now he's going to drop the Auctioneer, Innervate, and potentially swing, and he always has the Healing Touch if he needs to.
Oh.
And so he's going to draw first.
He needs to play Healing Touch no matter what, right?
Now, does he Innervate?
Yeah.
I guess so. There's no point using it.
Right. I mean, that creature's... Oh, my.
Oh!
The perfect card.
Wow. Draws Wrath, and he's eliminated the Ancient of War, and he draws another Innervate. Wow, this is what you're talking about, but he also has to
he doesn't want to use that because he has 3 cards left in his deck, I believe. Oh, apparently he does want to use it.
He's got to use it sometime, right?
Keeper of the Grove's not bad.
Wow, so he's got some great utility cards remaining, and we have ourselves a big Game 3 moment once again.
Well, the thing is, his opponent has Naturalize, and if he naturalizes a card here, he draws 2.
But he starts taking damage.
That's pretty much it. Like, that's the rest of the deck.
And there's no other options that he has.
Right.
Unless... So, what does Monk have? He has an Ancient of Lore left, I believe, as well. So he does have some pretty big minions.
Yeah, I believe Monk has quite a few cards left in his deck. I believe it's at least like... Oh, he does do the Naturalize. It essentially only draw 1 card because the 2 cards left in the deck, and you draw 1 for your turn anyway. Oh! That last one.
Oh,
Forgot about that.
Ancient of War. I thought we've been seeing kind of the same cards, so we kind of lose track of who has what. But now we have a big draw, and so with 4 cards left,
that Ancient of War is being played. Seems they were delayed a little bit there, but Monk is actually in a pretty bad spot.
Wow. So we can drop the Ancient of War and the Harvest Golem, but every turn he also doesn't he eventually want to start armoring up as much as he can too? Like, I mean,
the thing is he's not drawing cards and his opponent is drawing cards. So if he plays it slow,
right.
you give your you give your opponent the opportunity to just cycle through.
It's coming down to the wire.
Well, now he can deal with it with swipe, but the problem is he loses his board and he drops his hero power. So swiping the opponent may be an option considering you have healing touch here.
And just kind of holding out, but then he still doesn't know what his opponent's holding.
Right.
Cards, and we know it's Keeper of the Grove and Harvest Golems, two pretty durable cards.
It's going to be pretty hard to get through that 5-10 wall, I think.
This is still okay. So
that's
he's going to
what
go
he
for the safer play.
This
is getting down.
It's difficult to understand what's safe right now.
Yeah, I guess that's a great assessment of the situation. Monk's going to heal up, but he's out of cards. But speaking of out of cards,
he's actually out of cards.
Yeah, there's opponent that's out of cards. Ekop is drawing 2 damage and soon to be 3.
Yeah, once the 3 cards that he has are dead, he essentially cannot win the game without the hero ability or some fatigue, action going on. So right now he's just trying to race.
All right, 14-9. The top deck from Monk is an Ancient of War. Are you kidding me? This is a big draw once again.
Yeah, the problem is Sylvanas runs into it.
And then he takes the Ancient of War.
Right, so this may be one of those options to play it as a 5-10.
Or 10-5, you mean?
Yeah, 10-5, that's what I mean.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. It's kind of crazy because 3 turns means Monk wins.
It looks so stupid to play it this way.
Right.
But it's just because the opponent has no cards left. Like he trades with Sylvanas, but then there's no card he's playing after Sylvanas.
Over the next 3 turns, he takes 12 damage, and so even if he armors up, he loses. I'm talking about Ekop here. And so Monk can try to stall for 3 turns, and he's going to do it. Oh no, he's going to try to speed up the process, but he's not going to get away with it.
No, he can't play it as a 5-10 because Sylvanas runs into it and he takes it. So this is the correct play. Right. It just looks kind of funny.
Because you don't really see an Ancient of War.
So Ekop has to deal with this. So he has to suicide Sylvanas.
Right.
And he's at the point where he's just hoping Monk just draws complete air.
Unless Monk draws something that gives him more draws.
I'm actually not sure what his fatigue is at.
It's at 3, so he has 2 more turns left.
Oh, that means he can't win then.
Well, he draws an Ancient Watcher. Oh wait, does he have 2 Ancient Watchers?
It's good enough. You can't win. He cannot kill the opponent because he only has 10. He does 5 damage a turn.
Oh, you're right.
And he armors up.
Armor up.
So Monk cannot lose right now.
Unless something crazy happens, but
yeah, if he disconnects, I guess.
If he disconnects, if he accidentally concedes, but there's 1 health left. He's just gonna have to go for the face, and I think that's gonna be it. It's kind of humorous. I think Monk's gonna draw his 2 remaining Ancient Watchers, which hasn't really seen play.
He goes down in true fashion there.
Cool. So Monk's gonna win 3-0 over Ekop.
Yep.
A heated game number 3.
That was a pretty crazy match.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah. I think Monk got, he didn't need to get really lucky, but he got a little bit lucky in the right spots. Like he was able to get a discounted Ragnaros, and his opponent had to waste a lot more.
Did a really good
right. And that really made up for the fact that Ekop's deck was a little slower. Just the way that the cards, just the pieces of the puzzle just fit a little bit better for Monk. And in the end, that's what did it.
It's really good for his team as well, as they tied up 1-1. Yep. He's won 250 for himself and 250 for his team. And I'm sure all of his boys at Team Liquid are really proud.
The monies.
Yeah, the monies. The monies, the fames, the glories. Do you have any final thoughts on what we've been watching?
It's pretty cool that, both matches ended 3-0, but it's something that you tend to expect in these matchups. The first match is very decisive. That's what we experienced at BlizzCon. I think every time one player won the first game, they won the set.
Right, and it kind of keeps snowballing.
Yeah. It's because usually the main strategy comes from pairing up the decks, and Ekop actually had that strategy above Monk as it played out. But he got a little bit unlucky, and he kind of lost the edge matchup. So when you lose the match that you're favored to win, stuff goes wrong really fast.
Yeah, because in your decks were prepared to fight something else, and you just feel like you're under tooled.
Exactly.
Yeah. But Monk does win an important match for his team, and now it's 1-1. We'll have some words with the winner and the loser Right after this, you're watching ESGN TV Fight Night.
So Monk takes it 3-0 for his team and gets a much-needed win for Team Other Team No Name Yet. Now we head into our doubleheader for tonight. It's a rematch from BlizzCon Finals, Artosis versus Crip. Stay in your seats.
Get ready for the second match, Criparian versus Artosis.
Thank you, ladies. Two girls telling us it's game number 2 between Artosis versus Crip. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Mage. I'm about to find out in just a second. Yeah, it is Mage.
That's Mage, yeah.
And let's look at the opening hands for these two players.
For Crip, it's a really interesting hand. Like, it's really good for Warlock. Like, being Warlock against Mage, you really have to be hyper aggressive here. Like, he needs to deal as much damage as possible. For Artosis, this hand is probably fine. He's playing the Frost Giants build, as we said, so he will be trying to defend as much as possible and then finish him off like with Pyroblasts. So this game will be pretty intense.
Sounds like the build for any Mage, honestly. Do something into Pyroblast.
Well, that's right.
Is that
like,
not?
The Pyroblast is the final answer. It's a good card, and it's an exciting card right now.
Oh, is it? It's exciting for one person. Maybe exciting not in the most positive way for the other. Oh, okay.
Oh.
So he chooses to go for a coin and shut down Crip's loot, or sorry, not loot order. The Leper Gnome. I was looking at
Leper
loot order in his
Nymph.
hand.
So the Leper Nymph is down. It was killed by the Fire Blast, which is the hero power. And this is actually a good play because the Leper Gnome can deal a lot of damage. So it's better to shut it down first. And this is one of the very interesting plays. Like, you have a 2-1 loot hoarder and a 3-2. The loot hoarder is one of the best answers to deal with a 3-2. You kill it and then you draw a card.
Yep. So it's the 2-for-1 in the most hardest way possible. You can eliminate something.
And he has Void Walker, so he actually countered the best play. And his positioning is exceptionally good because he counters the Con of Coal here.
Yep. No opportunity to hit those 3 people and parry it off. So nice job once again. But the answer will be the Frost Balls.
So he clears the Fury Dragon, and he's pretty safe here.
For the Void Walker, winter came a little early.
That's right.
Although winter here in Berlin is pretty brutal, man.
Yeah, it's super cold. It's cold right now.
I heard it's like warm for winter. It's like
You
negative
serious?
1 right now. And right now it's like warm, considered warm.
Oh my
What do you
god.
think?
I think it might be warm for an Eskimo, actually.
How would you know?
I don't know, like, it's super cold for me, that's for sure. He's drawing cards to fill out his hand, and oh, Doomsayer, I really like this card. Doomsayer is one of these cards that you play and your opponent is like, oh my god, what do I do now?
I mean, he has 7 damage on the board. Oh, and he has a free board to do King Mukla. This is going to put on lots of damage. And I think he fills up his hand, so no more hands.
Oh my god, oh
no!
my god, he gets
loses
destroyed.
the Archmage.
He loses the Archmage, which is a great card. It's one of the like winning conditions in this deck.
Yeah.
So, and it was golden.
Oh yeah, that's the worst part. Losing
That
golden
Makra,
card.
like trolling him with bananas. Now he has those bananas that he can't use. Like, what would you buff? Like a Doomsayer? Seriously?
Yes. Maybe.
Maybe he will go for the Doomsayer plan, like play it, buff it, and attack.
Whoa, now he has a Spellbreaker. He can silence the King Mukla, hit him for
5.
5.
And then Soulfire. It's getting pretty dangerous for Artosis. Oh my god!
Oh my goodness, perfect.
He can...
I think that's it. That's
No, he needs more, and he can actually discard the Soulfire, so he'll probably keep those to actually get very dangerous, like in range, and then like get more cards.
Counting is hard, man.
But he will play the Molten Gems now, so the Moltens are on the run.
So you can drop 2.
But what
and then he can still Blizzard.
Yeah, but what Artosis needs is an Ice Block, I think, because it's pretty dangerous here. With
How's
the
he gonna draw it? He doesn't have any draws in his hand, does he?
Yeah, no draw here.
Okay, so he guess he'll use a banana, maybe Blizzard, but that's the best he can hope for.
Yeah, he has to Blizzard. There's no other way. He has to. So Molten Giants and Blizzard, how does it even work? Like, you have this Molten Lava and Freeze.
Oh, but here's another thing too. Because he's gonna do 17 and he also has a Fireball in his hand, he could kill off Crip if he doesn't kill him off this turn either.
So what Crip gets? Oh my god! So now he
has to make sure not to discard the Soulfire.
Yeah, if he discards the Soulfire.
If he discards the Soulfire.
Is this the end?
No, he discards the Argent Squire.
Oh my god, this is so annoying.
And Artosis had an opportunity.
Going down. It was so close again.
Oh,
first game.
That's devastating. He's shaking his head. He knows. He came down to it.
That's tough, man. That's tough for my team.
Wow, that's just like that after a quick, I think it was like 10 minutes. Down 0-2. Artosis can't even believe it. His headset's off, and he's not even getting up.
It seems like Crip is finishing those games so fast because he wants to get on a couch and sleep.
Yeah, I mean, before he was looking sleepy, but don't let his demeanor fool you. Crip is full of energy. That aggressive play was pretty cool to watch.
It was pretty devastating.
Wow, and we were talking about how the mage deck like that is designed to kill warlocks who be really aggressive in that manner.
Yeah, so he's left with Paladin only.
He is. I do have to kind of remind you that it came down to that last draw, but in the end, the Leopard Gnome ended up paying off big dividends, right?
That's right. That 2 damage.
That was the MVP
of
the match.
Leopard Gnome nailed it.
I mean, sure, he ended with -3 in the very last.
Leopard Gnome was important, and losing the coin there, and and the bananas destroying Antonidas. Like, really? Would you destroy the Archmage with bananas?
I have no idea, but that's something that you can't really expect. But that's also some of the most fun things about it, because when you stack so many cards, you only can hold 10 cards in your hand. For anybody who hasn't really been able to play Hearthstone much, and after that you draw it, it just disappears, and that was one of the most important cards.
That's right. Do you think that Crip was planning it from the start, that to play King Mokla and mess with his hand, like Artosis' hand?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, probably
that might be a strategy.
Capacity. I mean, he also had full board control as well, and didn't have anything to contest it. He drew Mukla at the perfect time. I think it just synchronized for the worst possible storm for Artosis at the moment.
Totally. Yeah. And getting that Argent Commander to get that 1 point of damage was missing was pretty devastating.
It's really funny how so much top decking in the early game as well factored into things, with countering the Loot Hoarder, the Void Walker into the Frostbolt and everything like that. But in the end, after it's all been said and done, Artosis, 2 minutes later, still can't believe what just happened, as he is down to his last final life as a Paladin. Our BlizzCon 2013 champion's on his last life. And that does mean Crip is 1 step away from winning 250 for himself and 500 for his team.
And getting a rematch.
And getting revenge.
Yeah.
So there you go, the 2-minute timer is over. Let's find out if Criparian can complete the sweep or Artosis start the comeback with his Paladin deck. Artosis heads into game number 3, down 0-2 against Crip, who's played phenomenal with his Warlock deck. But he's down for blood as he wants to finish it out now. 3-0, his opening hand, pretty solid.
It's pretty good, yeah. And Artosis is starting, oh my god, this hand is not that good.
Yeah, and you always kind of debate, I know I want Peacekeeper sometimes for that 3-drop.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you ideally want something a little earlier as well.
We can talk more about the Artosis deck. It's the Paladin deck. This deck is pretty much different than the regular build because it's more like late game. Most of the Paladin decks that we've seen in the past are the very aggressive decks playing a lot of small minions. Artosis build is like a mid-range, so he has some of the small minions, but it's mostly like mid-range going to late game with some healing spells. This deck was actually designed to counter mages. It can work against Warlock, but we'll see.
All right, so right off the bat we see a coin Knife Juggler and an immediate turn to Argent Protector.
This play is pretty... Oh my god, this is the second Knife Juggler.
Yeah.
This is getting pretty dangerous for Artosis here, and playing Argent Protector is not the best play you want to do. That's a very good move for Crip. Like, he gets
protecting his Knife Jugglers.
That's right. He protects his setup, gets the board position, and he can play anything next turn to get 2 knives flying into minions.
And so he's going to drop his Peacekeeper to try to reduce the damage of the Knife Jugglers, but still the control that you can implement is pretty powerful.
And he gets another Soulfire.
God,
oh my god, what happens here? Do you drop Argent Squire first or Soulfire first? I think I'll drop Squire.
You drop the Squire first?
I dropped the Squire first because Sylvanas...
2 damage?
Yeah, to deal 2 damage and then get rid of the board. Because Squire is very important now. Next turn is...
well, he's gonna lose his Sylvanas.
This is better for him. Like, he actually got a chance here, and it worked out for him.
Okay.
Artosis is in a pretty bad shape, unfortunately.
Not the best start whatsoever for our BlizzCon champion. He does have the True Silver champion, and he does have a lot of answers to stuff like this, but still, he doesn't have a chance to get set up whatsoever.
He has only 19 life. He will be healing some life from the True Silver champion. But still, Crip is a very good position here. Playing small minions, getting knives out, doing damage. He deals only 3 damage this turn, but Artosis is down to 16, so it's getting pretty dangerous.
Artosis has some healing cards within his repertoire, like Guardian of Kings and Lay on Hands, but still, it's going to be a while before he can access those. And
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, now his only option is really to get rid of that Voidwalker and try to put some minions. So.
Well, a good thing for him is that Soulfires are out of the way, so now if he just controls the board, we know that Crip is not running any other spells, right? Those are the only spells in his deck.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have, well, he does have Power Overwhelming as well.
Oh, he has Power Overwhelming as well, right?
He doesn't have Shadow Flame or other forms of
Demon Fire and stuff.
Demon Fire.
That's right. So this battle will probably be a minion on minion battle.
All right, so Crip has 2 opportunities to proc the shields, and he does for one of the Argent Squires. And what will he choose to do? Could he trade with some of the minions? He looks like he's thinking about it. I think that's the right move.
He can get some board position here, and the next turn he'll play Argent Commander. So I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know. I would probably like do what Crip does here. You can go to the face. Oh, that's a
nice
famous
draw.
Artosis card, Consecration.
This is actually a top deck scenarios he had before, where he was able to use Consecration to win the game against Crip in BlizzCon, and now he should be able to pull it off. Drop one of his Silverhand Knights, trade with the Voidwalker, and then keep his Harvest Golem alive.
That's right. Would you play the Black Knight at this spot, like to kill Voidwalker?
Only if I'm feeling really, really far ahead.
Okay, that's right. So he will kill the Voidwalker with Argent Squire.
Or maybe he's thinking about keeping the Argent Squire alive, but...
I think it's fine. I think it's fine to kill and deal 2 damage. Like, he is behind.
Yep. Alright, well...
Well, he is the controllish player. I'm the aggro player, so... Okay.
Keeping maximum health sometimes isn't a bad thing at all, but... Ooh, look at this. We also have...
Oh, Crip actually bugged.
That's a little unfortunate. I don't think he even wants to play the Iron Dwarf, though. Or the Spellbreaker's the one bugged.
He would probably play Argent Commander.
Okay.
Oh, he didn't.
Well, now he can silence the Harvest Golem, which is
That's
a good
right.
power move.
So he gets rid of the 2/1 token that could be there if the Harvest Golem goes down, which is probably okay for him. Artosis gets a sword, so he'll be able to produce like big minions here.
Nice.
Oh, this is a good move.
Yeah. And he doesn't even have to trade his Harvest Golem. He can use the Argent Squire and... Oh, well, I don't know if he necessarily wants to trade with his face.
This situation looks pretty good for Artosis because without Soulfires, he's now having a very clear board position, Sword of Justice implied, and healing spells in his deck, so he can take down this game.
And so now Crip's gonna have drop his Argent Commander and as well as his Argent Squire and develop his board. But Artosis, if he gets a pretty good draw, he should be able to at least heal himself up.
Do you find it interesting that Crip is actually using Paladin cards, facing Paladin? Like Argent Commander and Squire being the Paladin.
Squire,
so,
yeah. It's kind of using his forces against him.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So now like Artosis should actually use the Warlock card.
You were once a noble warrior from my army.
Do you play Equality here? That's an interesting play.
All right. Well,
he was able to get that Argent Commander's
maybe a
health
Black
one.
Knight and make it a 5/6.
Yeah, it's okay. There are only 2 cards in Crip's hand.
And he knows his opponent's aggressive, so he's not going to try to make too many taunt creatures, other than
That's
maybe
right.
Defender.
He also knows that his opponent is playing the buff cards, so like Dark Iron Dwarf, so he wants to have his board cleared.
And so now Crip's starting to enter quite of a dangerous situation because he is going to life tap, but doesn't have too many options at his disposal. At best, he can take out this Argus and then try to make it 1 minion for 1 minion. But I like how Artosis has been able to turn this around so far. Yeah,
the game is slowly turning around. Like Crip can't go to the face right now because he can die like in a couple of turns. He's getting low as well.
Oh, that timing. If Artosis was able to somehow disable the Argent.
He's in a pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Like Artosis has to decide if he wants to go to the face here, but he doesn't want to go to the face, which is probably a good move. So he has board position here. Can Warlock deal with that board? I think he can.
Yeah, and life tapping is really risky because there's things like Hammer of Fate that still could come out. There's things like Consecration or even True Silver Champion number 2.
That's
right. So everything that you life tap is dangerous, or even just, oh wow, he's just gonna go for it anyways. I mean, Crip does have up 2-0, so maybe he's feeling a little bit more risky in that regards, but I don't think he has any answers.
Is there? I think Artosis is actually missing 1 damage to kill Crip next turn. So if he draws something that deals 1 damage, it will be game.
A leopard gnome, but he doesn't have one in this deck.
He doesn't have one, but he has a second consecration, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if he draws it, that's game.
I mean, he has a lot of options. A Sun Cleric would do anything.
Oh, this doesn't make it, but it still puts him in a pretty good position.
Yeah, he can neuter one of these minions the hard way with a Peacekeeper.
He needs to neutralize one of the minions and then get Crip down to like 8 health or 6 health.
Nice. Gonna trade for the Dark Iron Dwarf. And again, just systematically pick him down. Crip could be on his last turn. Unless, well, we have seen pretty crazy comebacks today
He needs
already.
like a Leroy, so it might be interesting. For sure, I think that the Blood Knight will go down to the small imp, killing it mercilessly.
Yeah. Oof.
I think
there's really nothing. He has to life tap.
Yeah, he has to life tap. Oh, that's actually a pretty good card here. Does it save him? He can kill the Blood Knight with an imp, then play an imp, Sharisan. Yeah.
And then
Defender Vargas.
and have a taunt. Although
He will have 1 taunt because the
they
imp
doesn't
will be
reveal the
stopped.
second one.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so inconvenient for him at the moment.
But it saves him this turn, so it's a pretty good play. He can also play like King Makla and then make a Makla taunt. So
Yeah, and that gives him a big target. I can definitely see that happening. I think right now Crip's deciding what he wants to taunt with the defender, but regardless,
he wants to kill the token. Yeah, because then he will have a second taunt. That's also a possibility.
Oh, I see.
So he can buff the imp, and instead of, but I think like killing Black Knight would probably be better.
Right, because now that if he kills the, oh, okay, he's gonna trade.
Oh,
instead for the
that's also a great move because
wow,
he gets
that's something
rid.
I wasn't looking at all.
Yeah, me as well. So he gets rid of the big minion. Oh, that's the second consecration for you.
Artosis coming through in the
Consecration, double
clutch,
consecration. That's it, right?
Yeah, because then he can kill off the Sun Cleric with the Blood Knight, and then he can finish him off with the Black Knight.
I think he wants to finish it off with the Blood Knight. That's a special card we've put, and I think he wants to use it really bad.
Justice demands retribution.
Nice.
Game 3, Artosis comes a little bit closer for a comeback. Semi-even series 1-2.
And for the first time this tournament, we actually don't have the 3-0 score.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly enjoyed that series and rematch between Crip and Artosis. So we're done with our doubleheader for tonight, guys, but don't forget, tomorrow we're also going to do a Season 2 recap, and Monday, February 10th, begins Season 3 of Hearthstone Fight Night. I'm Frodan. See you guys next time.
Tune in for tomorrow's special episode of Fight Night Hearthstone Season 2.